This is the first chapter of the book The Manor, written by author Siddharth Sen. Chapter 1, titled A Mysterious Figure. The bright full moon hung low over the strange house, casting long serrated shadows that seemed to stretch and twist with a life of their own. At distance, the howl of wolves and strange eerie voices were trying to pierce the silent halls of the manor. Raj and Karishma moved cautiously through the darkened halls, the oppressive silence broken only by the creak of the floorboards beneath their feet. The air was thick with a damp, musty smell that clung to their lungs, making it hard to breathe. Suddenly, a cold draft swept through the corridor, carrying with it a foul stench of decay. The walls seemed to close in around them, thumping as if the mansion itself was alive, feeding on their growing fear. Then, suddenly out of nowhere, from the wooden walls, dark figures began to emerge. Their bodies were undefined, yet their presence was overwhelmingly real.
You should not have come here.
A deep, malevolent voice boomed from somewhere unseen, the sound echoing off the ancient walls. Raj and Karishma froze in terror, rooted to the spot. A pin-drop silence.
This is not your place.
The voice reverberated, now filled with an ominous irrevocability. Strange deformed fingers which were twisted in anger, their hisses deafening and torches flickering, with an otherworldly presence through the darkness.
Karishma? Karishma?
Raj shouted, but his voice was swallowed by the growing cacophony of hisses and whispers of these terrible creatures. The distant howls were now inside the manor. The figures closed in, their hands reaching out, clawing at the air with the fingers that seemed to stretch and elongate unnaturally, almost touching Raj as he desperately tried to pull Karishma closer, holding her hand more tightly than ever.
You will join us?
They hissed in unison, their voices merging into a terrifying chorus that reverberated through the manor's ancient halls. The shadows grew thicker, wrapping around Raj like cold, suffocating tendrils. He stumbled backward, his heart throbbing as he desperately searched for an escape route. The wooden walls, once solid and sturdy, now seemed to swell and pulse, as though the manor itself was breathing, alive with malevolent energy. Suddenly, the sound of Karishma's scream pierced the darkness, echoing down the corridor with a bone-chilling clarity that sent a jolt of fear through Raj's entire being. Raj! Her voice was a desperate cry, filled with terror and anguish, and then silence. Raj tried to pull Karishma closer, but his hand passed through empty air where she should have been. Panic surged through him as he realized she was no longer by his side. Raj bolted down the corridor, his breath coming in ragged gasps, the shadows chasing him, closing in with every step. His mind raced, but there was no coherent thought, only the primal instinct to survive, to escape. But there was no exit from this place. The manor had swallowed them whole, and there was no way out. The last thing he heard before darkness consumed him completely was the sound of a scream, tearing away into the void. Karishma was gone. In the quaint village of Amtya, 80 kilometers away from Kochi, villagers kept hearing strange sounds from the manor in the woods, but no one dared to come close to this place, even in broad daylight. Present day.
How was the fort? Would you like to try any dessert?
An attractive waitress in a maroon sari, her golden badge glinting under the soft lighting of the beautifully lit restaurant, interrupted Raj's thoughts. Raj blinked and smiled, trying to shake off his last thought.
No dessert, thanks. The food was absolutely delicious and very filling. Please pass my compliments to the chef. Have you had a chance to taste this dish yourself?
Raj asked, his voice sweeter than usual.
No, sir, I haven't. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. We would love to hear your feedback.
The waitress replied with a polite smile, about to step away. Raj quickly delivered his punchline.
I am planning to give you 7 stars. What's your name?
That's very kind of you. My name is Apsara.
She said, a faint blush touching her fair cheeks.
I'm sure your parents must be proud of you. You really are an Apsara.
Raj was about to reach for her hand when he noticed Karishma returning from the restroom. Quickly, he adjusted his tone.
Thank you, Apsara. I will ask my wife Karishma to provide feedback. Could you please bring us the bill now?
Apsara rolled her eyes playfully and flashed a knowing grin at Karishma before heading off to get the bill. She understood that her brief moment of flirtation had come to an end. Karishma glanced at Raj, suspicion evident in her eyes. I'm sure you were just talking about how delicious the food was. Raj's eyes twinkled, betraying a hint of guilt.
Yes, I was just complimenting the food.
Karishma's expression hardened. And I also noticed the way you were looking at her.
Hey, you are misunderstanding. There was nothing like that. Let us just settle the bill and go. I will pay at the counter. You wait in the car.
Raj suggested, eager to change the subject and escape Karishma's taunts. As they left the restaurant, a cold breeze brushed past them, carrying with it the faint sound of whispers. Whispers that only Raj seemed to hear.
Did you hear something?
He said, his voice shaking.
No, I didn't hear anything. Except maybe what you said to your latest Apsara?
Karishma replied with a taunting tone.
Come on, I just asked for their number for home delivery. In case we need it. Stop being so suspicious. I am not having an affair.
Raj responded, though in his mind he was still replaying the image of Apsara's deep coral eyes and graceful beauty. He got into his polo, started the engine, and soon they were driving along the scenic valley roads, leaving behind the noise and bustle of the city. But as they drove deeper into the tranquil landscape, the memory of the whispers lingered in Raj's mind, unsettling him in a way he couldn't quite shake. The trees outside seemed to blur together, the winding road taking on an otherworldly quality. It was as if they were being drawn into another place, another time. Karishma seemed to sense his unease, her thoughts clouded by some events of the past. She glanced at Raj, his face pale and tense. "Raj, what happened?" she began, but her words were cut off by a sudden jolt as the car swerved, narrowly missing a shadowy figure that seemed to appear out of nowhere in the middle of the road.
What the hell?
Raj gasped, pulling the car to a stop, his heart racing. They both stared at the spot where the figure had been, but there was nothing there now, only the quiet rustling of the trees in the wind. Raj's hands trembled on the steering wheel, his mind racing with 1,000 thoughts, none of them comforting. "Did you see that?" Karishma whispered, her voice barely audible. Raj nodded, his mouth dry.
Yeah, I saw it.
They sat in silence for a moment. Raj took a deep breath, trying to steady himself.
We need to get out of here.
He said, his voice shaking.